Tonight is the NBA All-Star Game in Cleveland, Ohio. That league, like Meet the Press, is celebrating its 50th anniversary. Yesterday, NBC's Bob Costas and I sat down with some very recognizable faces. I'm here in the locker room in the Gund Arena in Cleveland, Ohio, site of the NBA All-Star Game. I'm with Bob Costas, and we're joined by Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls, Charles Barkley of the Houston Rockets, Grant Hill of the Detroit Pistons, NBA Commissioner David Stern. Welcome all. Happy 50th anniversary for the NBA. Commissioner Stern, let's get it out of the way. All the world has seen this famous footage, Dennis Rodman kicking a photographer under the basket. You suspended him for 11 games, but now he's coming back to the NBA. How short a leash is Dennis Rodman on?
Dennis Rodman's game is not going to be affected. He's going to be allowed to play exactly as he has. Not every athlete gets through a career doing everything perfectly. He's done something he'd like to have back, but he knows that if he does something like that again, he's going to be dealt with very severely. You
were going to urge him to undergo counseling, will he?
No, actually, what I said was I wanted him to meet with a counselor prior to my reinstating him. I think maybe I was the one that needed the counseling in terms of how to deal with Dennis.
Did he do that?
Yes. As a matter of fact, when he met with me, we were joined by the league's counselor by agreement of Dennis's his agent and myself. But we did want to give you the opportunity to run the footage, so it's something to talk about.
Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman is your teammate. Will he respond to your peer pressure, your leadership, by behaving himself?
I hope so. I think Dennis realized he made a mistake, and I think that's he's paid the penalty. And I think as a team, we were very disappointed because he put us in a very difficult position. And I think we went out and we made the challenge and made things happen. But I think he feels like he has to come back and get that confidence and that desire back from us. And I'm hoping that he comes back on Monday with the same desire that he plays the game at. I mean, that's something that he's admired for. And if he comes back with that intensity, then I think we all be happy.
Bob?
Commissioner Stern, is he now not required, barring another incident, not required to undergo any kind of counseling?
He never was required to undergo further counseling. Dennis knows the benefits that might give him. He's been sort of informed of it, alerted to it, but that's his decision. It never was part of the suspension.
You said if he does anything like this again, his season could end. But suppose he commits an infraction which for another player might draw a 2 or 3 game suspension. But if this guy doesn't have a pattern of conduct, then the phrase has no meaning. So is he on a different set of rules now? Might a minor infraction end his season?
No, a minor infraction will not end his season. He is a great player, and during the playing of the game, he's encouraged to play exactly as he has. Dennis's problems have occurred more or less after the whistle blew the ball dead, and on that part, it's pretty tight. But on playing of the game, there's no sense having a great player like Dennis back if you're going to change this game.
Charles Barkley, you want to comment on Dennis Rodman?
Well, I think everybody knows that Dennis made a mistake. I think his punishment fit the crime. I like Dennis as a person, but what he did was totally wrong because it takes away from the league. Any negative publicity toward his team, the league hurts the league, and he was wrong, and we got to move past that.
Grant Hill, you are perceived by many as the perfection of a young NBA player. And yet some of your younger colleagues have created a stir over the last few days. Allen Iverson of the Philadelphia 76ers said he didn't respect Michael Jordan and players of his generation. What do you say to Allen Iverson and younger players in the league?
Well, first of all, anyone who knows me knows I'm not perfect. I think as a representative of the so-called Generation X, we got a lot of guys who are young players and young people. And I think as we grow as players, as we mature on the court and mature off the court, then hopefully we can do a better job. But you got to understand, a lot of these guys are young, and some of them didn't go to school, of course. But I think as we grow as people, we'll become better and understand, we have to respect people like that because they paved the way for us.
Michael, how do you respond when someone 18, 19 says, I don't have to respect you?
I don't judge him harshly at all. I think that's something that the game is going to teach him a lesson. It's not always myself or anyone surrounding the game. I think the game has been here a lot longer than Allen Iverson or Michael Jordan, Grant Hill, or Charles Barkley. I think what sometimes is forgotten is some of the sweating and some of the honest work way long ago that's been laid down for us to come here and earn the type of money or get the respect of the fans, of the media, or whatever. And I never want to forget that. And I think that's the respect that I ask that every athlete, every player pay back to the game. It's not to me, it's not to Charles, it's to the game of basketball.
Michael and Charles, it isn't just perhaps embittered old-timers. It's still current players like yourselves or recently retired players like Magic Johnson who have expressed concern, certainly not about all players, but
Sure.
about enough players to make an impact. They worry if these fellas have the right mindset to carry on what's been built up to this point in the NBA. You share that concern?
Sure, I understand exactly what this is. It's the same thing when Charles and I came into the league, and I guess my mentor at the time was Dr. J. And Dr. J gave me a lot of insight about some of the things I may deal with as I got older. I think what we feel as an obligation of being in the league and passing the baton to Generation X, as Grant said, is to maintain this business that has been so profitable for all of us and so entertaining to the fans, and to do it in a very respectful way so that the athlete already has a strike against them because of our lifestyle and things that we have obtained. We don't want that to ever incur that we have certain attitudes that normal people don't have.
Bob, I'd just like to say that I think it's been blown up a little bit out of proportion. Allen Iverson didn't say that a few days ago. He said it a few weeks ago, if he said it a few months ago, as Michael said, and it gets recycled. And I think that people tend to forget that. For example, the elder statesman sitting at the other end of this row, Charles, has said a couple of things during his career that occasion comment and the like, but that's part of the growing process.
Commissioner, Grant Hill's point, are these players too young, 18, 19, only a year of college? Shouldn't they wait till they're a little bit older, a few more years of school?
I don't think that that's our decision to make. I don't think you've probably said that Martina Hingis is too young, or Steffi Graf, or Jimmy Connors, or an entire group of players. So I think that that's for them to make the decision. I might, if I were their parent, or giving them personal advice, but I don't think it's for us to tell them and their family what they should forego.
Charles, looked like you were about to say something.
Well, I just think that they got to understand that the game is the most important thing. And this is not like you got 18, 19, 20-year-old kids who think they're playing basketball. This is business. We're trying to promote a business and make it bigger and better. And until they understand that, and I think it's going to take time. I think Grant had a very good point. They are young kids. And I think sometimes we overreact by some of the things they do. But we don't reel them in and try to let them know, hey, this is not just playground basketball. This is a big business. It's bad for the fans right now because there are not enough good teams. I mean, people pay a lot of money on NBC to watch these games, advertising. Fans play great money. They should see quality basketball until these guys mature and learn how to play the game. That's the problem. They play basketball. They don't know how to play the game.
Are you concerned that the league has expanded too far, and even though there are many great players, there are too many teams, and therefore the talent is diluted relative to past eras?
No, we have the same number of teams in the NBA today that we had 20 years ago, and we have probably 24 foreign-born players. There's a greater influx of talent. Charles may want to argue about the way they play the game, and that's a different story. But this is not about dilution. This is about drills, fundamentals, and a variety of other things that Charles and Michael could speak to better than I could.
To finish this topic up, Charles, you had the famous, or in some people's minds, infamous commercial where you declared, "I am not a role model." That was a few years ago. You have any different point of view about that now?
No, not really. I think the athletes are secondary role models. Your parents are your primary role models. Hey, there's not many Grant Hills or Michael Jordans out there. Every kid wants to be, but they're not going to be. That's unrealistic. They have a better chance of being what their mother and father are, and that's reality. I mean, we try to make people think they can be famous and everything, but hey, these guys have special God-given abilities. They should listen to their parents and get a good education.
But you cannot deny, Charles and Michael and Grant, that there are 4 million young black boys under the age of 18, and they idolize you. They look up to you. Aren't you a role model?
To some extent, yes. I think we have an obligation. It wasn't an obligation that we chose. It was bestowed upon us because of the success that we've gathered. But I think when your parents are there every day, they have a much more influence on that kid than what we do. What we do is generalize. It's over a group of people, probably the 4,000 or 400,000 kids that are watching us. And we try to do that to the best of our abilities. But the influence is going to come from a day-to-day basis when you can see these attitudes and how they accept certain discipline or certain attitudes to change. And we can't do that from a general sense.
Grant Hill, let me ask you a question and show a graphic on the screen. This is something that you said. I try to live my life as if one day I'm going to run for president. I'm not going to run, but I just try doing things now that later on in life I won't regret.
Yeah, well, I said that with the intention of hopefully running within a platform with Charles.
We're going to get to Barkley.
Or Lieutenant Governor of Alabama.
There it is.
I'll move to Alabama. But no, I just feel that I like to live my life and conduct myself and do things now that later on in life, I won't regret. And that's something that, like Charles and Mike said, I learned from my parents. I learned from them that you want to handle yourself and be a professional at all times.
What would you say to the millions of young children out there today who are watching you as to how they should live their life?
Well, I think everyone knows right from wrong, and it's all about making the right decisions. You talked about role models. I enjoy being a role model, but I think a parent, a teacher, a counselor, someone at your church, they're people who you deal with on a day-to-day basis, and those are people that you should try to pattern yourself after and look up to. It's good to look up to Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley, but we're not going to meet you. We're not going to deal with you on a regular basis. We can't deal with everybody. So I would just say make the right decisions, associate yourself with the right people, and try to stay with the right crowd.
Michael Jordan, you had a very strong father presence in your life.
Sure.
Grant Hill, Calvin Hill, your dad, very strong presence in your life. 2 out of every 3 children born in the black community and across America are now born to a single parent in a home without a dad. What do you say to those young men who are having these babies and not taking responsibility?
I think that's something they have to stand forth and take a responsibility. I think, as you said, it's a lot of single parents out there, and giving general advice, we all have to be responsible for our actions in whatever capacity that may be. And I would advise them, if they can, is look to support someone either from their family or church or someone that's close to them to help them deal with that problem. But it has to be done. And it is a sad situation, but it's something that has to be dealt with.
Charles?
But we can't use it as a crutch. I'm from a single parent family, and my mother and grandmother raised me, and they were just strong. They taught me great discipline and how to work hard. I mean, we can't use that as black men as a crutch. Number one, you're right. We got to stop having kids out of wedlock. We got to stop teenage pregnancies. We as black people got to step up to the plate and control our own lives and our own destiny. I mean, we always bring racism up. White people do not owe us anything but an opportunity. We have to sooner or later step up, get educated ourselves, stop having kids out of wedlock, stop gang banging and things like that. You can't expect other people to help you. You have to take control of your own life. But as far as single parent, we can't use it as a crutch. There are a lot of strong black women out there, and there are a lot of strong black men out there raising their kids single-handedly. But just not having one parent, that's a crutch.
Commissioner, are you comfortable with these young men talking to other people in society about standards like this?
I'm not only comfortable, I'm proud to sit here and listen to them talk. And I think that these views that you hear are so fundamentally representative of the vast majority of the 400-plus players that represent the NBA, that I'm just grateful that we have an opportunity to have people see them having this serious discussion.
But the NBA as a whole, should they be talking more about some of these issues, encouraging young people to conduct themselves in a way that is proud and representative?
Most athletes, I'm not going to say we're all saints. The major majority of athletes are terrific people, work hard, and they don't get in trouble. Obviously, when 1 or 2 guys do something wrong, it explodes. But most athletes in general, in all sports, are good people, hard work, and stay out of trouble. But just when we do something wrong, it's off the charts.
No, but go further. I don't know if you caught it this morning on NBC, the Team Up celebration that was led by Bob Lanier, Hall of Famer, NBA players. Ahmad Rashad was the host, talking about volunteerism and community service. Every one of our 29 teams participated in that program. Every one of the teams sponsored school visits. Most of our players have programs individually, directly or through foundations. It's there, it's out there. But that's not the footage that gets run because it just doesn't appeal to the masses. It's just not as much fun.
All right, let's talk about futures.
Right, Tim?
Let's talk about futures and the future of the league and the future of some players. Mr. Barkley, will you be governor of Alabama in 1998 or 2002?
What I want to do, Tim, I want to go to Alabama and get on television every day and tell the black people there and the poor people there that they can be whatever they want to be in life if they, number one, educate themselves and push themselves as hard as they can. There's nothing wrong with going to high school, getting a diploma, and getting married. But for me, I think they should push themselves harder. I think the blacks are obviously at a disadvantage because of the way the South is. I want to tell them they can be whatever they want to be, but they have to push themselves, develop pride and self-esteem. That's what I want to do. I don't really care about winning the governorship, but if I can get on TV every day and beat it in their head that they can be successful, the governor, Bill Clinton, the president of the United States, the person I have respect for, is from a little rinky-dink town in Arkansas. Michael Jordan is from a little rinky-dink town in North Carolina. But I think they have a small-town mentality that they are not as good as everybody else. And that's all I really want to do.
But you're going to run for governor.
I would like to run. I would like to get on TV every day and just tell people they control their own lives. That's
you can get on TV every day. I guarantee you can get on TV every day.
I like that.
You can have your own show.
But see, you know what? I think that we all have special gifts. And if you just use it to make a lot of money, be famous at basketball, I don't think that's our purpose. I really don't.
So in 98 or 2002?
Well, 98 is close, isn't it? I would like to play.
2002.
I hope so.
All right.
Michael, you said recently you want to play next year. Is that definite? And are you thinking if you do play next year, that that's it?
No, I'll answer for him. It's definite.
It's definite that he plays next year.
Let's just say I don't have a contract for next year. And I think
we can squeeze you in on the minimum down in Houston. You don't need the money.
That's all right. I think that my goals are to win a championship once again, and hopefully have an opportunity to come back and defend. And Phil being the coach, Dennis possibly being a part of that team. I say possibly because that's an organization desired. I mean, that's their choice. And if that happens, I can see myself playing next year. But right now, I like to evaluate it each and every year and make that decision.
Can you see yourself playing beyond next year?
Sure, I could.
So you'd go a year at a time?
I just take it year by year, as long as we're winning and success is there. And, if Charles is still around, I'm pretty sure I have a good chance to keep playing.
Speaking of Charles, they named the 50 greatest players of all time, but they didn't rank them 1 through 50. That would be too difficult. Just this week, Charles is quoted as saying, well, for my money, Wilt is number 1. The Big O Oscar is number 2, and Michael is number 3. Reaction?
No, it's not. I mean, everybody has their own opinion, and I respect that for Charles. I think, I couldn't even give you a 1, 2, and 3 because I never played against these players or seen these players in their eras, and that's hard to rank them in that situation. And I think he probably did it in terms of favorites or whatever, or just his own opinion. But me, I'd rather keep them all in one class and not really try to rank them because I think that's the way it should be done.
But almost by acclamation now, people are saying you're the greatest basketball player of all time and maybe the greatest team sport player of all time. Are you comfortable with that?
No. I mean, because it covers a lot of sports all over for a long period of time. It's a great honor. It's a great respect that they're paying me. But for me to accept that is saying that, I saw Oscar Robertson in his prime, and I don't think he could do anything to stop me. I can't say that, and I won't ever take that step out there and approach it in that direction.
What would happen to the NBA without Michael Jordan?
I think the NBA would survive. I think the NBA would be just fine. I think it's got a great infrastructure with a lot of young players coming up. I think, as we've mentioned today, it's a lot of young players who are going through that transition period, and it's going to take some time because of the maturity, but the NBA is going to be strong for a period of time.
Grant Hill, what would happen to the NBA without Michael Jordan?
Well, it would give the rest of us a chance to win.
All politics is local.
No, I think, like Michael and Charles said, unfortunately one day they will retire and not play anymore. But I think the NBA will do well. I mean, hopefully we can. I think we can. We got some young players, some talented players. And, I think Michael and Charles, they followed guys like Dr. J and people who were before them, and they helped carry it to a whole nother level, and hopefully we can sustain that to the next century.
Commissioner Stern, there has to be some concern, though. The NBA will remain popular. It's a great game celebrating its 50th anniversary. But Michael Jordan is a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon, and the Bulls have won 4 of the last 6 championships. The ratings for the last 6 NBA Finals have all been strong, but the graph really jumps when Michael Jordan and the Bulls are on national television, even if other star players from major markets are in the other series. So when you lose Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, there's got to be a dip.
Well, there'll never be another Michael, but there'll never be another Charles. And tune in to NBC tomorrow to see the 50 greatest players of all time. You know, Dr. J was the next Elgin Baylor. Michael Jordan was the next Dr. J. Grant Hill is the next Michael Jordan, and there are lots of Grant Hills coming, and each one is singular. But as a group, I assure you that they're going to continue the success of the NBA.
But it has been a golden era of great players, great marketing and direction from your office, but also a little bit of luck in that Bird, Magic, and Michael not only were the symbols of the league, but their teams, one after another, were the best team in the league, and they kept meeting in the championship. You can't guarantee that that sort of circumstance will be repeated.
What, the Boston Celtics of Bill Russell, chopped liver, Bob?
No.
I mean, you know, you don't even focus on the great teams that we've had, and there will continue to be.
But that's prior to
teams.
this. That's prior to this explosion in the NBA's popularity.
Well, that's prior to the media explosion that covered it. If Wilt Chamberlain had gotten the exposure that our players get today, if Bill Russell had gotten it, there would have been a different golden era. To take nothing away from our current players, they may well be the best who played the game. They're playing in a golden age of media coverage, which will continue to grow.
Before we go, Michael Jordan, I got Charles Barkley to announce for governor today. My guest in the earlier portion of this program, Jack Kemp, going to run for president. Will Michael Jordan ever run for office?
No. I think that my public stage has been a long time, and I really truly have enjoyed it. But I think what's been lost is my obligation to my family and to my friends and to myself in terms of my time commitment. And it's been a great run for Michael Jordan, but I would just want to get up one morning and not worry about what I got to do for that day or the next day. And if I have to do that, then I'm not really free of some of the things that I'm looking forward to and enjoying. And that's really what Michael Jordan wants at this particular time.
And we thank you for joining us, Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, Grant Hill, David Stern, Bob Costas.
Thank you, Tim.
And we'll be right back.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.